Good evening. First and foremost, I would like to thank everyone for coming out tonight. My name is Diamond Gibbs, and I am the co-founder and president of UDTJ organization. Before I address why we are here today, I wanted to address the emergency joint statement released by UDTJ and Delco Resists on the evening of August 30th. As mentioned in the statement, we have been on the front line for the past year working endlessly with the Bility family to ensure that Fanta gets justice. It has unfortunately been extremely difficult over the last couple of months to stay focused on that particular goal due to major conflicts that arose when other organizations and individuals directly got involved in Fanta's case. UDTJ has never been opposed to collaborations, working as a collective, or uniting to amplify such an important incident that has harmed our community. However, we felt that it was urgent to step back in a way to create our own organizing path to continue the fight for justice while also staying in line with our morals and values. We wanted to separate ourselves directly from conflict. So overall, our organizing message speaks for itself. We will continue to be deeply focused and committed to the work, and that's what we will be doing today. This leads me to say why we are here today. At an upcoming court hearing, Judge Amoroso is considering the dismissal of the manslaughter charges against the officers. If this will be the verdict, this means that the officers will only be charged with reckless endangerment, and of course that leads to a reduced sentence. Delaware County on any forefront is not used to accountability, especially police accountability. We have seen that in the beginning of this case when two black teens were charged as adults with first-degree murder while the names of the officers were not even released yet. Accountability is not something we can expect. It is something that has to be demanded across Delaware County. The former Sharon Hill officers are responsible for taking Fanta's life, no matter whose weapon the fatal bullet came from. They're responsible for injuring 3 others and putting the community in harm's way when they decided to discharge their weapons recklessly towards a crowd of people. Fanta deserves a trial, and its officers should be held accountable. We are demanding that today and encourage everyone to stick around for the rally. Thank you. And I will now introduce the next speaker, who will be speaking on behalf of Delco Resists, Ms. Ashley Dulcimore.
Thank you for everybody who is here today. My name is Ashley Dulcimore. I'm the co-founder of Delco Resists. Today, a family and community are mourning. Today and every day since August 27, 2021, the Bility family has been shattered to never be the same again. Fanta could have been anyone's child. Parents, it could have been your life that was changed. The actions of the Sharon Hill police officers forever altering your heart, your family dynamic, your trust in your community. What does community mean to you? To me, community means a strong foundation of shared space, shared wisdom, and shared responsibility. Community means what one lacks, another will give. Respect for one another, intention in coexisting peacefully, listening for and nurturing the needs of those in your community, actively working to keep one another safe. Safe. How do we continue to feel safe in a county where accountability is rarely brought forth? Why does the FOP hold so much power? Why are elected officials more concerned with their position than the people that they serve? Who is overseeing police training in Delaware County, and at what standards? How can we sustain a healthy community with such a severe lack of resources, especially for mental health, especially for our children? How do we move forward more trauma-informed in a manner that will prevent another tragedy like this from happening again? These questions are the root of our work, and we are here today to remind you all that we are still working towards these answers. Your help is one of the reasons we've made it this far. We've accomplished what we initially set out to do, and we look forward to continuing to fight for justice across Delaware County in a productive and collaborative manner consistent with our values. It is imperative that we continue to fight for justice together and shine a light on corruption and misconduct in Delaware County, in hopes that families having to face heartbreak and traumatization will be a thing of the past, in hopes that our police will truly serve and protect the communities that they are paid to patrol. We can start by ensuring the Department of Justice gets involved in this case. And on that note, I'm going to call up our last speaker, Mario Cimino. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Mario Cimino. I'm retired longtime council president in the borough of Morton in Delaware County, and I'm going to be speaking briefly about, while, as the other speakers have said, we are hoping against hope for justice here in Delaware County in the Delaware County Courthouse with DA Stolzheimer and Judge Amoroso. That said, I fully understand the status quo, as do pretty much everybody that has been following the status quo in Delaware County, if they're honest with themselves. For too long in Delaware County, there has been a mentality of sweeping things under the rug and just saying, well, that's Delaware County, and what can you do about it? Well, in this case, it cost a young 7-year-old girl her life, and as Ashley said, that could have been your daughter, my daughter, anyone's daughter. So we need to get justice for Fanta, her family, but also keep all of our families and children safe. And in order to make sure that happens, we need oversight. And the way we do oversight in this country is through the United States Department of Justice. We're calling for the United States Department of Justice to open multiple investigations into this case to make sure that justice is done and to make sure that there are checks and balances on what's done at the local level. I would like to bring up the case of Breonna Taylor briefly as an analog to what needs to happen here. In the Breonna Taylor case, as often happens here in Delaware County, the local and county and state elected officials were unable or unwilling to take the steps that would get justice. It took the U.S. Department of Justice starting 2 investigations, a criminal investigation which has led to charges against the officers that cost Breonna Taylor her life while she was minding her own business in her own home, and also a pattern and practice investigation, which is equally important because I know that is one of the things that is one of the toughest nuts to crack in Delaware County, because we have an FOP and we have elected officials that are wedded to the status quo and do not want to see the way things have been done from time immemorial here change, because that would be too difficult and might threaten their political hegemony. We need pattern and practice because we need to know how officers are being trained. Yes, these individual officers in this case need to face justice, and that our justice system needs to work in that way, but also we need a systemic investigation into how the Sharon Hill Police Department and other police departments do training, how the county does training, how the state oversees training, whether we have a dedicated practice of militarized training of police here that needs to be addressed by the United States Department of Justice. The United States Department of Justice has long-standing experience with these pattern and practice investigations, and we call for them to come in. So just to reiterate, we are holding out hope that DA Stolzheimer and Judge Amoroso will be able to bring justice in their realm of responsibility here at the immediate courthouse, but also we're calling for the check and balance of bringing in the United States Department of Justice for an objective review of the practices and patterns in the Sharon Hill Police Department that led to this, and ultimately to carry over lessons learned to all of Delaware County and beyond to keep our families and our children safe. Thank you, and we continue to fight for justice for Fanta, her family, and all of our fellow citizens.
Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Fanta's 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 lives matter! What do we want? A trial! When do we want it? Now! If we don't get it, shut it down! If we don't get it, shut it down! If we don't get it, shut it down! Say her name! Fanta Bility! 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 What do we want? A trial! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? A trial! When do we want it? Now! If we don't get it, shut it down!
We're out here tonight because Delaware County has a reputation of sweeping things under the rug. Delaware County has a reputation of ensuring that people of color do not get justice. Delaware County has a reputation of racism, white supremacy, and cover-ups. This is why we're out here tonight, because things have changed in Delaware County. We are not going back to the way things were. We're not going to be silent any longer. I encourage Judge Amorosa to do the right thing and make sure that Fanta Bility gets a trial and not dismiss the charges, the rightful charges against these officers.
Yes.
Justice for who?
Fanta Bility!
What do we want?
A trial!
When do we want it?
Now!
If we don't get it,
Shut it down!
if we don't get it,
Shut it down!
what do we want?
A trial!
When do we want it?
Now!
Justice for who?
Fanta Bility!
Justice for who?
Fanta Bility!
If we don't get no justice, we gonna shut it down. We don't get no justice, we gonna shut it down. No justice,
No peace!
no racism,
Police! Alright, I want to thank everybody for coming out here tonight and for continuing to show up for Fanta for this past year. We all know that if it weren't for the tireless work of the organizers from UDTJ, Delco Resists, and the Delaware County community, the police who recklessly murdered 8-year-old Fanta Bility wouldn't even be facing a trial at all right now. Thank you to the organizers who have worked tirelessly to pursue justice for Fanta. Thank you.
no more cover-ups.
No more cover-ups.
No more cover-ups.
No more cover-ups.
No more cover-ups. No more cover-ups.
The already meager manslaughter charges that these police are facing are simply not enough. Is that what we call justice in Delaware County? No! Meager manslaughter charges against 3 men who recklessly ended a child's life. Is that justice? No! And the only way that we can get justice, and this has been proven time and time again through people's struggles throughout history, is by taking to the streets and demanding it. We know very well that the system is racist. It is white supremacist, racist system that will never be able to uphold justice.
Say it again.
And so we're out here today fighting for justice for Fanta because we know that's the only way that we're going to get it. And that Fanta's family is going to get justice for Fanta. So thank you again for being here. And make sure that you're doing everything you can to continue to pursue justice for Fanta. Showing up here today is great. Let's keep organizing and let's keep fighting and showing up every time. Not just for justice for Fanta, but to end the racist, white supremacist system that allows black children like her to be murdered
by militarized police that have no place in our community while they're out here killing children.
Silence is institutional violence. So silence is therefore violence.
Silence is 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 violence.
Fanta deserves to be here today. She deserves to be living a normal life like a little 8-year-old girl should. Like a little 8-year-old black girl should be able to be going to a football game and not have to worry about her life. That's the life a young black girl should be able to live. Not one where she's having to worry about police at a football game. Where she's not having to worry about being shot up by police at a football game. That is not the life no young black girl deserves to live. She deserves better.
She deserves better.
She deserves better.
She deserves better.
No more cover-ups.
No more cover-ups.
No more cover-ups.
No more cover-ups.
Justice for who?
Accountability.
Justice for who?
Accountability.
Justice for who?
Accountability.
Justice for who?
Accountability.
But we know that that's the reality that millions of black children across our country face every day. They do not have the security and safety to be able to walk the streets without enduring serious violence, not only from the police, but from degraded socioeconomic conditions in our communities due to poverty and the overspending on police and military instead of investing in our communities.
Don't tell me about Chester.
Is that justice?
No.
Is that how our black children deserve to live?
No.
So what are we gonna do? Fight back!
Stand up.
Fight back!
Stand up.
Fight back!
Stand up. Fight back. Stand up.
Fight back! For those of you who don't know, Fanta's story is tragic. Not only because she was murdered, but by the cowardly actions of the police, our elected officials, and the district attorney afterwards. Fanta was murdered because of police reckless action. And after that happened, police tried to then push the blame to two young people who did not shoot Fanta. These two young boys who were charged for her murder did not shoot the bullets that pierced Fanta in her back and made her bleed out in her mother's arms. Those children did not do that. And they are also the products of a failed system, of the way that we're failing our youth every day. By the way, the ruling class is failing our youth every day because it's not us. We do everything we can in our power, but we do not have the means because they are constantly taken away from us, again, for militarized police in our communities instead of investing in actual care. The two young boys were involved in an altercation blocks away from where Fanta was leaving an Academy Park football game with her family. Those two young men unfortunately did shoot at each other. And the police that were stationed at the Academy Park football game to ensure families' safety, in response to that, shot into a crowd of people, of families, of students. They shot 4 people that day. It wasn't just Fanta. Her 12-year-old sister was also shot. 2 girls that were driving around the corner, who the police actually were shooting at, one of them was shot. And another community member was shot. Because police decided to just fire their weapon into a crowd of people? What the hell is that? How are they qualified to serve our communities when that is their response to a couple of bangs in the distance? They are not qualified to protect our communities. And in fact, it's not even their job. The Supreme Court has ruled that the police do not have a duty to protect and serve the people. They don't. That's just a fact, again, of our racist, white supremacist system that does not care about the people, but only about Capitol Police and war. Shame on you, Sharon Hill Police.
Shame on you.
Shame on you, Sharon Hill County Council.
on every single person who has had a hand in mishandling justice for Fanta. Shame! 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 Fanta's life matters! Fanta's life matters! Black lives matter! Black lives matter! Fanta's life matters! Fanta's life matters! How do we know that this isn't going to be my child next, or your child, or the little boy or girl next door? How do we know that? When they have done nothing to show us that they've learned anything from their fuck-ups. How they have done nothing to show that they give a shit about justice. How do we know that they're not going to kill our children next? We don't, and they will. We don't, and they will. They will continue to murder children in our community unless we start actually holding them truly accountable. Manslaughter charges ain't it. That is not justice. That is a gross miscarriage of justice, stemming from an already gross miscarriage of justice. And complete recklessness, violence, and wanton cruelty by the police that should be there to protect families. Wanton violence and cruelty. It sickens me, and it should sicken every one of you too. It should sicken people across the country, and it should light a fire under people's asses to organize and make sure that something like this never happens again. Justice for who? Fanta Bility! Justice for who? Fanta Bility! Jail killer cops! Jail killer cops!
I'm sorry, but I had to see this mom over here with her son holding that sign, and that's something that we should say right now. Devaney, Smith, and Dolan ain't shit.
Devaney, Smith, and Dolan ain't shit! And Fanta deserves better. Devaney, what is it? Devaney, Smith, and Dolan ain't shit! 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 Those are the police that are on trial, hopefully going to be on trial for Fanta's murder. But their defense attorneys, of course, are trying to have those charges dismissed. And we're here today to tell the judge that we demand those charges not be dropped, but upheld, and that the officers are prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Fanta deserves a trial, and we're here to make sure that she gets it. And if she does not, we will be out here again. And we will keep showing up here. And we will keep pressuring everybody that we can. Elected officials, police, district attorneys, the Department of Justice, to pursue justice for Fanta. Justice for who? Fanta Bility. Justice for who? Fanta Bility. Justice for who? Fanta Bility. Justice for who?
Fanta Bility. And on that note, it should be noted that we do not forget that these charges that we are currently, these inadequate charges that we are fighting to keep, had to be begged by our district attorney. It took us months of protesting and pressure to even get our former district attorney to get up off his ass and do his job. We do not forget. And Judge Amorosa, you are elected too. We do not forget. Devaney, Smith, and Dolan, no matter if you have any future in law enforcement, which, dear God, I hope you don't. But we know this country, we know this system. We do not forget. Justice for who?
Fanta Bility.
And whose name will we never forget?
Fanta Bility.
Say her name.
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 Fanta Bility.
Pigs are not above the law.
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 No justice.
No peace.
No racist.
Police.
No justice.
No
Fanta Bility deserves a trial.
Fanta Bility deserves a trial.
Fanta Bility deserves a trial. We still need answers.
We still need answers.
We still need answers.
We still need answers.
Not one more life.
Not one more life.
Not one more child.
Not one more child.
Not one more family.
Not one more family. As long as DA Jack Stolzheimer is in office, he will continue to allow the negligent behavior of officers to cost people their lives. This is not the first time this has happened in Delaware County. We just witnessed it again in Yeadon with Sean Morcho. This could have easily happened again in Ridley, knowing how their police department operates. This could have easily happened in Chester. This could have easily happened in Collindale, Colwyn, anywhere throughout the county. If we do not hold them accountable, our elected officials are not exempt. Accountability skips over no one. When you're elected to serve your community, we expect that to be done. No other person throughout Delaware County, throughout the state, throughout the country should deserve or lose their life because of who we have in office, as well as how we allow our police departments to operate. This is not okay. Fanta was 8 years old. Her mother and her family is forever traumatized after seeing her sister, her child, her relative, her loved one bleed out in public in her mother's arms. This is not okay. Another common argument that comes up all the time in Delaware County, well, we're not Philly, we're not far behind. The difference between Delaware County and Philly, a lot of things get swept under the rug. These police departments don't have the right to advertise what happens. We need police advisory boards. We need a lot to come into our communities to make sure this does not happen again. And we will not allow our electeds to fail. So please, people were out here earlier registering voters to vote. This election coming up, it's important. We're going to continue to push to get our electeds in office who will actually serve and do what needs to be done. These police departments throughout Delco are horrible. It's getting bad and it will not be tolerated. So we demand that our electeds come through, and we also demand that the police departments get their shit together. Obviously, the training systems that are in effect are not working, if they even have effective ones in action, and we need to do better as a community. Justice for who?
Fanta Bility.
Justice for who?
Fanta Bility.
Justice for who?
Fanta Bility.
Justice for who?
Fanta Bility. And we all know that the police are going to use that as an excuse to pursue more funding, right? That's what they do every single time. We shot a kid. Obviously, we need better training, so you need to give us millions of more dollars. Is that the answer? Do we throw money at it? Is that how we hold cops accountable? By paying them more? No. How about we start demilitarizing the police, and they can use that money on training? Because that is not justice, throwing money at the problem. Paying them more? That's insanity. That is ridiculous. Demilitarize the police. Get the police out of our schools.
And just better at that, we could use that money and start funding our schools. Start funding Chester. Start funding Glen Mills. Start funding every minority populated school so that less crimes happen. So that we're actually able to pay for our teachers, to pay for mental health resources, to pay everyone fair and equal wages all across Delaware County. That's what that money should be used for. Not for more police funding, not for more reasons to get them away with crimes. That's what that money should be used for. It's used for the betterment of our own communities. Police are not a part of our communities. They are above our communities, or they see themselves as above our communities. Justice for Fanta.
Justice for Fanta.
So we're going to announce, so this wasn't initially part of our plan, but some of our organizers have had a quick sidebar. So we're actually going to go on a little march. So hopefully everyone here has a little bit of their walking shoes on. We're not going to go far, so don't worry. We're just going to start here. We're going to walk around this block. and we're gonna come up State Street.
We're gonna queue to the sidewalks to make sure that everybody stays safe.
Yes, please stay on the sidewalks. You know, this is a risk assessment that we're not gonna have any issues. We have a constitutional right to walk on the sidewalks, so as long as we stay on the sidewalks, we should be fine, so.
Justice for who?
Fanta Bility!
Justice for who?
Fanta Bility!
Justice for who?
Fanta Bility!
Fanta's life matter.
Fanta's life matter!
Black lives matter.
Black lives matter!
Fanta's life matter.
Fanta's life matter!
Jail killer cop.
Jail killer cop!
Jail killer cop.
Jail killer cop! Jail killer cop!
No justice.
No peace!
No racist.
Police!
No justice.
No peace!
No racist.
Police!
Justice for who?
Fanta Bility!
Justice for who?
Fanta Bility!
Justice for who?
Fanta Bility! Fanta Bility!
No justice.
No peace!
No racist.
Police!
No racist.
Police!
No justice.
No peace!
No justice.
No peace!
No racist.
Police! Police!
Black lives matter.
Fanta's life matter! Black lives matter!
Fanta's life matter. No justice.
No peace!
No justice.
No peace!
No racist.
Police!
No racist.
Police!
Black lives matter.
Black lives matter!
Say her name.
Fanta Bility!
Say her name.
Fanta Bility!
Say her name.
Fanta Bility!
And we are here tonight, marching in our community, demanding that racist killers have a trial and are held accountable to the fullest extent of law. Justice for who? Justice for who? Say her name. Say her name.
Black lives matter! Fanta's life matter! No justice!
Fanta's life matter.
Fanta's life matter!
Black lives matter.
Black lives matter!
Fanta's life matter.
Fanta's life matter! No justice! No racist! What do we want? When do we want it? Now! What do we want? When do we want it? Now! If we don't get it,
Shut it down.
if we don't get it,
Shut it down.
what do we want?
A trial.
When do we want it?
Now.
Say what it is.
Accountability.
Say what it is.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
If we don't get it,
Shut it down.
If we don't get it,
Shut it down.
If we don't get it,
Shut it down. Say her name. Say her name.
accountability.
Say her name.
Accountability.
Say her name.
Accountability.
Say her name. Say her name.
Accountability. Say her name.
Accountability.
Say her name.
Accountability. Say her name. Say her name.
Accountability.
No justice.
No peace.
No racist.
No police.
No justice.
No peace.
No racist.
Police.
If we don't get it.
Shut it down.
If we don't get it.
Shut it down.
What do we want? A trial. When do we want it?
Now.
If we don't get
coming out today, and also thank you for coming with us on that march. I think we definitely started a lot of interesting dinner conversations tonight for a lot of people.
Dozens, maybe hundreds of people who did not know Fanta's name before tonight, they do now.
Justice for who?
Fanta Bility!
Justice for who?